0, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so today I'm gonna make a quick video on the most ridiculous situation I think I've encountered in a long time. And by the end of it, you're going to agree. So this morning, I woke up to a volley of messages on my website, because on my website I have a chat box where you can contact me, okay? And someone had sent me a bunch of messages claiming that I was defaming their company and claiming that I was costing them sales, okay? They also commented on the video where they claimed that I was doing this. We're gonna get to that. Let's start with what I said, okay? Because this all revolves around these videos that I've been making about the 3D printed suppressors. Because in those videos, I talk specifically about the FTN series of suppressors. And I talk about the fact that those are the only ones I would ever personally get a tax stamp for, because those are the only ones that have been proven to be genuinely reliable. So here's what I said, okay? I'm just gonna play the video on my phone and hopefully the audio picks up.
Once you get approved, then and only then
it's
are
right
you
after
legally
this.
allowed to start purchasing materials and parts for these suppressors. Now, me personally, I like the FTN series of 3D printed suppressors because they are the ones that are proven to be successful, okay? There are other 3D printed suppressors out there, but they are not nearly as well developed, and you are basically guaranteed to blow them out. And these ones also have the smallest form factor because of the fact that it's not trying to rely entirely on the strength of the print. The print itself is reinforced with carbon fiber sleeve.
Okay, so that is what I said. That is what triggered him to send me a message. Now you might notice in what I just said, in no way, shape, or form did I call out any creators, did I identify any companies, did I talk about anyone specifically. I just referred to 3D printed suppressors in general, and I made, first of all, it was my opinion, but it's also an objective statement of fact that an unreinforced 3D printed suppressor is never going to be as reliable as a reinforced 3D printed suppressor. So let's go to his messages. I wake up this morning and this is the first thing that I see. And I also have this posted on my community page, like the community tab. I posted pictures of this. I can't post the entire conversation because this dude was literally texting me for hours until I finally got fed up and I just blocked him. But here's what he sent me. All of this was in a row before I even saw the messages and responded. Y'all have been defaming my company on YouTube. I own Void3d. I am the original developer of 3D printed silencers, and I bust my ass to produce good work. Your statement that anything but these is guaranteed to blow up is false. I pride myself on my work, and you clearly don't do your research before slandering me and my company. Pemberton does good work, but your statements that all others will bust and your failure to give proper credit is highly disturbing. Please email me so that we can discuss this. At this point, I think I can link a drop in sales to your video releases, and considering that is a false statement, ... well, I'm sure you will make it right and we won't need to escalate it. But you need to contact me and we will need to get it fixed so that I don't have to escalate it through other means. Now, hearing that, and play it over again if you need to hear it, or just go to my community page and read it. Read what he just said and tell me that that doesn't sound like some sort of veiled threat that he's going to try to take some sort of legal action, because he's specifically mentioning defamation, which is a legal term, and he's specifically trying to blame me for the fact that he's making less sales, okay? Let's go line by line here. I am the original developer of 3D printed suppressors. I can't help but chuckle because that is laughable. This dude, in his own words, in this gigantic freaking exchange of messages, he literally tells me that he's been doing this for 4 years, okay? Keep that number in mind. If I go to Google right now and I just do a search for 3D printed suppressor, okay? I found one of the first results was an article written in April 6th, 2015. You know what's crazy about 2015? That's 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there was an article written about a 3D printed suppressor, and yet somehow This guy claims that he is the inventor and the original maker of 3D printed suppressors. Now, I'm no mathematician, right? I'm just a lowly YouTube maker. And I can't help but feel like 10 is bigger than 4. Maybe one of you scholars can go into the comment section and educate me on how 4 is actually bigger than 10. But me personally, I guess I'm just stuck on the fact that a cursory Google search with almost no effort revealed 3D printed suppressors going back minimum of 10 years. A minimum, okay? So that's the first ridiculous and provably false statement that he's making. Let's address the fact that y'all have been defaming my company on YouTube. Go back to the beginning of the video if you want to hear word for word what I said about 3D printed suppressors. Go back and watch all of the videos that I've made about 3D printed suppressors. You'll notice something glaringly obvious. I never once have ever mentioned any companies or any creators when I'm talking about other 3D printed suppressors. The only creator that I mention is PLA Boy, because I'm talking about his creation, okay? Now, right off the bat, the thing that really bothers me about this is I don't even know who this guy is, nor did I know who he was before he messaged me. And based off of all of the comments I've received so far and all of the things that I can find online, nobody else knows who he is either. So he is a literal nobody in the 3D 2A community, which is a very small community, by the way. So if you were making these amazing revolutionary designs, people would know about it. I've personally been in this community in multiple beta groups over the last 2 years. I would have come across your amazing revolutionary suppressors at some point if they actually mattered, which they clearly don't. Not only that, this guy's talking about sales. That's a very interesting thing. Let's go to his website and let's talk about the suppressor files that he's selling. Because according to him, I'm defaming him, right? By saying that all other 3D printed suppressors are basically going to blow up at some point because of the fact that they're not reinforced. Well, what does his website have to say about the matter? Most hunting and home defense incidences usually require less than 10 rounds and do not get the barrel of the gun hot enough to damage our silencer. So literally on his website, one of the first paragraphs that you encounter is him telling you, the potential customer, that his suppressor isn't going to be reliable after 10 rounds because it's going to get so hot that the plastic is going to start deforming. So your own words, you are defaming yourself. You did more to defame yourself on your own website than I ever could have because, like I said, I didn't even know who you were until you messaged me. This video, despite how small my channel is, this video will bring more attention to your website than you've probably ever gotten because nobody knows who you are. But you're parading around as if you invented 3D printed suppressors. That is absolutely wild. The cognitive dissonance that has to be occurring here is off of the charts. Like, it's one thing to try to claim that, you know, your design is revolutionary and like this or that. But to claim that you were the first when it is so easily disproven is wild. It is absolutely wild. But more than that, the idea that my video, which had nothing to do with you, you were never mentioned because you weren't even known at the time I made my video. I didn't mention you or anyone else, but the idea that my video affected your sales, you know what that tells you? That tells you that your product is garbage. Let's pretend that you actually were getting sales before my video went up, okay? The reason why people stopped buying your product once they saw my video talking about the FTN series of suppressors is because they realized, oh, there is a vastly superior option out there that doesn't cost money. I'm not being scammed out of $25 for a suppressor that doesn't do anything except fail after apparently 10 rounds in your own words. He specifically says that these are not combat silencers. He loves to call them silencers. Everybody hates when people refer to these as silencers, but he only refers to them as silencers. So according to him, these are not for combat or for training. He says not to use them in training. So what are they for? You're telling me that I'm going to spend $25 on your file just so that I can spend another $200 on a tax stamp for what is essentially a disposable piece of plastic? Does that make any sense? The only reason why people are willing to put tax stamps on the FTN suppressor is because of how proven reliable they are. And not only that, the ATF's own website proves how insignificant your suppressor is versus the FTN. Because when you go to register an FTN, it has at least 10 different pre-populated options because of how many people have been registering them over the years. Whereas Void is not an option. So it's amazing how you think that you're the guy who invented this entire idea, and yet you seem to have made the least amount of impact on the community. Like, it would have been significantly better for you to have just kept your mouth shut and never said a word, because now everybody's gonna know exactly who you are. You've been exposed for the dirtbag that you are. Coming to me, trying to make veiled threats about what you're gonna do if I don't capitulate to your freaking demands based on us having a difference of opinion is wild. You think anybody's gonna come to your website and support your business now that they know that this is how you interact with people? This is how you treat other people in the space? And I'm not even in the space. I'm just a guy who makes these things and talks about it on YouTube. I'm not even one of the creators, nor have I ever claimed to be a creator. I literally just made a cool thing that I like and I want to talk about it. And because of the fact that I was in different beta groups, including beta groups specifically for unreinforced 3D printed suppressors, I have seen hundreds of videos of these suppressors being tested. I know exactly what the FTN is capable of, and I also know what unreinforced suppressors are not capable of. I have seen hundreds of videos of unreinforced suppressors failing catastrophically, including your own suppressor. The only videos that exist on your suppressor on the internet are of it failing. How do you even defend yourself or try to say that I'm saying something false when it is a provable objective fact? You're the only creator. This person here is the only creator who claims that his unreinforced suppressor isn't going to fail. What is it called when it stops working? Let me think. That's called failure. And if on your own website, it literally gives a 10-round limit before you're going to start experiencing failure, what would you call that? How do you possibly get off trying to say, oh, well, saying that ours is going to fail or ours is going to blow up? That's how they fail. When you have an unreinforced 3D printed suppressor, they don't fail by shooting through the bore. They don't fail because they've got so many rounds through them that they don't suppress anymore. They fail by blowing up. That is an objective fact of reality that cannot be argued with. Here's the thing, I'm fired up, obviously, so I'm gonna try to tone it down here for a second because I really just need to get this video out. This is Editing Will from the future. I forgot to mention one thing. I'm gonna put a screenshot here up on the screen. He also went out of his way to talk shit about PLA Boy, okay? He says in this comment that you're gonna see here that I'm hyping up somebody who apparently was just copying him. So it's interesting to me that he's telling me I'm the one who's defaming him and talking about his company, even though he's never mentioned. But he specifically, in this comment that he deleted, by the way, because he's a coward, in this comment, he goes again and claims that he's the inventor of 3D printed suppressors and that everyone else, including PLA Boy, is a copycat. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I forgot to mention it while I was filming this thing. I was heated, I was amped up. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about how ridiculous this situation was. This guy's clearly a complete idiot. I would never recommend ever supporting a business like that, supporting a person who acts like this, who tries to make threats to other people because they don't like. This would be like if a company came out with a product and got a bad review and they tried to like sue the company who made the review because the bad review, which was truthful, is causing a decline in sales. You don't have a decline in sales because of me. You have a decline in sales because your product sucks. And now everybody knows that it sucks. See, 3D printing in the 2A space is so new and the 3D 2A community is so small, most normies don't understand that this stuff even exists. almost all of the people who've watched my videos at this point have all been freshly introduced to this idea that you can 3D print a suppressor and it will actually work. So it's not, you weren't making sales before this because you have some great product. You were making sales before this because of the fact that people didn't even know there was better options out there. And now that they do, guess what? They don't want to waste $25 on something that is objectively worse than a thing that they can get for free. So anyways, like I said, I would never, ever give Void3d my money. That's not defamation, that's my opinion. This guy's a dirtbag. Nobody should buy his suppressors. It's not that you're buying his suppressors, you're spending $25 for an STL file. And objectively, they will fail. Even on his website, he admits that they will fail. Just do a quick search for Void suppressor and see how quickly they blow up. It's a joke. It is an absolute complete joke. Never give this company your money. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.